Shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And if you know that I love one thing, it's Israel. If you know that I love two things, it's comedy. And if you know that I don't think I love three things, those two will suffice. And the person that we have with us, a fellow named Pablo Lewin, fits very nicely into both of those things, because not only is he a staunch Zionist, he is also a stand-up comedian and a movie producer, director of short films. We can talk about that. He has also been, for many years, an airline pilot. So many differentiated things in Pablo Lewin's life and career, which is why we have him in the neighborhood. Shalom, Pablo!
Shalom, Rebbe, was machst du? And I'm Yisrael Chai, baby.
Yes, it's true, baby and adult. I'm Yisrael Chai, adults too. Let me ask you though, the first thing that we're going to think, okay, Lewin, we get, Lewin, Jewish, very probably short for Lewinsky, which is a beautiful name. It had one kind of stain on it that we won't talk about it, but it's a presidential stain. That was a joke. Or Lewin, but Pablo? How?
Well, let me explain. First of all, it's Lewin, like Lewinsky, without the ski part of it, because I can't ski. I suck skiing. Get it? Suck skiing? All right. Yes. I'm your... Yeah, the stain. Okay, we're talking about the stain.
I get it.
Let me explain the name Pablo, okay? I'm your typical American Jew from Argentina.
Oh! So how many years did you spend of your early life in Argentina?
16 years. And listen to me now. I'm not American born, but I'm an incredible simulation. Listen to this English. It's perfect. I am beside myself. In fact, look. See, I'm beside myself.
I see two of them now. I got to clean these. Oh,
yes.
All right. But let me ask you then, so you were probably a native Spanish, of course, a native Spanish speaker. Did you start learning English when you were there, or first when you came here speaking nothing?
Oh, when I first came here in 1976, there was no ESL. English is a second language. They threw me immediately in class with other American kids with no translations. So I had to just hit the ground running.
And how long before you felt, was it months or a couple of years before you're like...
About 5 hours ago.
Classic bit, yes.
It's a classic bit, but it's true. And, actually several years, but to get rid of my accent completely, that took several decades. And to this day, when in the morning, if I haven't had my coffee, I sound like Ricky Ricardo. Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
Well, can I hear you speak a little Spanish, or just tell us about?
Sure, I can speak 4 kinds of Spanish. Which one do you choose, Rebe? Which one do you want me to speak? I can speak Argentinian, obviously, Mexican, Cuban, and Spaniard. Choose which one.
Rebe. I don't care, but make it filthy.
Yes, absolutely. Just choose one.
All right.
Okay, Mexican. I'm going to do it.
Mexican, great.
Pues órale, gabacho, la chinga de tu madre. Yo quiero a mi vieja, pues. Órale. Okay, that's Mexican. That's a bad Mexican. Okay, now Cuban.
Mexican, yes.
Now Cuban. Yeah. Cuban is up. Coño chico, pues mira esta jeva, le voy a retorcer el pescuezo, tú sabes, me voy a tomar la guagua y me voy para Cuba. Okay, yeah. That's
yeah.
Okay, now Spaniards with the lisp. Remember the lisp?
Yes, I do.
Pues el sol de España en mis pisos, tú sabes que yo, pues ni joder, pues ni me voy a estos de Irán, pues que se vayan a la mierda. Okay. Wow. The Iran go to hell. But
let me ask you, how did you, since you were Argentinian, why do you know these other dialects?
Because I came to America. And at first, I went to South Central Los Angeles, where there were 3 kinds of people. Actually, 2 kinds of people. There were Mexicans and Cubans. And since we didn't speak any English, we relied on them to translate. And then based on that, being exposed to them, I picked up the lingo.
So
pretty much.
You were 16 years old. I have read a book, speaking of comedians, by Jimmy O. Yang. the fairly well-known comedian and actor, all about his early years coming to America straight from China, off the boat, barely spoke a word, and then being plunged culture shock-wise into Los Angeles. So what are some experiences that you remember as a teenager of the difference between Argentina and USA?
Well, the difference in culture was abysmal where we came. As far as my family, having an extended family, cousins, grandma, and everything else, and just being alone here and with no language or cultural skills, because language alone doesn't help you assimilate to a culture. You got to know the culture, the way people think, which is totally different in South America. For just to give you an example, if we were talking face to face right now, being this close is normal in our. First of all, men when they meet, hi, I'm Pablo. You can give them a kiss, not in the mouth, and don't grab their privates.
No,
but
but
it's normal to have this very close. When you talk to somebody, it's okay to talk like this.
If I meet someone, I tug their payas.
Yeah,
even the women, the pubic payas. This is just what I do. But yes.
Yeah, but it's kind of curly, so that goes away. So, but here, if you talk to somebody like this, it's an act of aggression.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's also the breath thing. It's not something you want to. So I get. So how though, from coming all the way there, not even speaking English, at what point did you become a pilot? Didn't that take years and
I always wanted to be an astronaut because I grew up obviously in the era of space exploration. I remember when man first landed on the moon, which is actually false. It's a lie. Nobody landed. No, I'm only kidding. Of course they did. And there's plenty of proof. And even though the Earth is flat, it happened. No, the Earth is not flat.
If the Earth wasn't flat, how could you land? You just slide right off. Of course.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. It has to be flat. Right. Like most of the girlfriends that I date.
Okay. Yes.
They're flat. But I love them that way. I don't want big breasts. A lot of mass. It's very scientific. Very scientific for kids. If you're listening to this, you shouldn't be listening to this. First of all, But if you are listening to this because your parents are not paying attention to you, it's very important to date women that don't have big breasts, because when they move all over the place, they can hit you in the eye, okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you can go blind. So, it's better to have hair on the palm.
What is it about sex that everything you do makes you go blind?
Everything Yeah, what is that vision?
My parents warned me. It was like, now it's the tiggies that'll do it. I don't even.
I mean, I can understand women going blind because the semen just flew in the wrong direction and hit him in the eye. But
all righty, okay. We're talking with Pablo Lewin here.
I was way out of line. I'd like to apologize.
No, you can. With all we do is
you're gonna have to bleep this. And,
no. I just want to move on to how did we get from jizz to space exploration? We were talking about the moon, for crying out loud.
Well, and so when I was a kid, when I first got here at 16, I figure in Argentina, if you're Jewish at the time, you were discriminated against. They put my brother in the hospital because Perón died in 1974 of old age, and he was coming out of the Yiddish club, the Ken, and they beat him up, you Jew, and they put him in the hospital for a long time. And you could never go to the airlines, or you could never learn to fly or be in the military to fly. Never. It was total discrimination because, as you may know, the Nazis were there and they actually took control of a big part of the country. So there was a lot of anti-Semitism at the time. Things have changed markedly in the last few years, especially with Milei, and who's a good friend of Israel right now. The Argentina, very good friend of Israel. In fact, I didn't believe it would happen, but it did happen, and it is a true friendship. So I started flying. I started going to the local airport, El Monte Airport here in Los Angeles County, one of the many small airports, and I started working part-time while I was going to high school, cleaning airplanes. And I said I didn't want any payment. All I wanted was 1 hour of flight time training a month.
A month?
a
My
month
God,
because
you're
that's all I
not
could
Jewish.
afford.
Wow, it says some.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, this the stereotype of the rich Jewish family. We were poor. That's why we came to America. We could have been excommunicated from the Jewish religion. That's how poor we were. And so,
So in that, when did you get your first opportunity? Obviously, there was a co-pilot, but to go up and away in your
no,
beautiful.
no. First, I got my private pilot's license, instrument, that means fly by instruments, commercial, which means now I can transport people and charge them, then CFI, certified flight instructor. And that now I started teaching. I was 18, 19 when I started teaching people how to fly airplanes, 3 years after arriving to the US. And and then at age 24, to make a long story short, I started flying Learjets, movie stars in Learjets, as a co-pilot first. Those are private jets, and for Clay Lacy Aviation here in Van Nuys, California. And I
All right,
flew movie
I
stars.
have to ask. Can you name some of the names of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that?
I flew Elizabeth Taylor, Robert Redford, John McEnroe. I flew uh, uh, rock groups on. I flew Prince, very aloof person, very petite, and he wouldn't talk to the servitude. Uh,
The servitude pilot or co-pilot, all right. Well,
we were below, he didn't talk. John McEnroe, you remember him,
yeah.
the tennis player, supposedly a bad guy, one of the best passengers I ever had. Super nice guy, the nicest. Um,
Who else was
and
there? How was Elizabeth Taylor?
No, she was very nice. Very. I flew Bruce Willis when he first got his job doing moonlighting, and he was very friendly. I flew Billy Crystal, uh, the three Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, and Whoopi Goldberg. One time they were doing that thing, comedy
Oh, they're
thing.
like comedy thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that comedy thing, and she was really scared of flying. But I flew people like that, and then I started flying, and then after that, I did other flyings. And at age 28, I got hired by Trans World Airlines to fly international TWA.
How's that? And you will appreciate this. A lot of people drink the TWA coffee, but I prefer TWA tea. Oh,
Oh,
right up your alley, literally. So,
that was a beautiful joke.
thank you, thank you. So this is, and you did this for what, 3 decades? You were piloting, or how long?
Until this year, until
Oh,
age 65. At January 8th, by the way, January 8th is Elvis Presley's birthday. And that was my birthday too.
well, mit mazel. So, as a pilot, did you ever have a close call? Ever a bird strike? Did you ever have a thing like solely on the wall? Anything even close?
One time, it was horrible. One of the flight attendants brought me the chicken. I think it started moving. That's how stale it was. I've had engine failures. I've had situations with low visibility, equipment failures, but I never bent any metal or killed anybody.
Oh, I love that phrase. But you never bent any metal. That's a great
Yes.
phrase for
All
it.
my landings I walked away from.
Well, obviously, but
And not only I, but all my passengers too.
yeah, them too. You're more important, but them too. So,
Right.
moving away from the flying into flying,
Yeah.
let's talk about something even really, really scary. Also flying, getting up in front of a microphone and saying, "How are you doing, ladies and germs? What made you do this?"
I don't know. I always loved comedy, and I always wanted to be a comedian. I didn't pursue it professionally because I was making a shitload of money flying airplanes. And for a poor guy like me, and I was helping my family, my entire family. I still do in some cases, but let's not get into that.
Can you help mine? God knows I could use it. Just a few. Throw this.
Okay, I'm actually contributing to a Chabad in because he came to help us when my brother was dying 5 months ago, and he was the only one that responded immediately and did a service at my brother's bedside in the hospital. So
Are we talking Cunin?
no, 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 no. It's it in the
Or local, more local Chabad, not Rabbi.
Local Chabad in the Eastern Empire, yeah,
I'm
it would be
sorry, by
local.
the way, about your brother.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, we're still reeling from that. But let's not get
no.
let's bring this thing up here. So
Comedy, stand-up comedy.
stand-up comedy, and so I started taking classes. Judy Carter, Greg Dean, um, and many other people. And then I started going to open mics, and that was in my 20s when I did that.
I thought this was a thing that you just picked up, after you basically almost retired and
Oh,
had
negative.
extra. No, you did it from early, early, early. Oh,
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I always, I somehow I had a need for the arts. As you know, as you may know, aviation is a very linear type of endeavor. Okay, so you have to think one way, you have to follow procedures, you have to be serious. So it's nice. It was nice to have an outlet for a human being's craziness that we all have. It doesn't matter who it is, from the president on down to the Rebbe. You have to be crazy somehow, and you have to have an outlet. So my outlet was being a comedian, and being Jewish. It's genetic.
isn't
Why
it?
is it genetic? Yeah. I'm going to reiterate what you already know, is that because of thousands of years of persecution and suffering, I was going to say something I'm not going to say.
No, go ahead. Go, you already did the
I
jizzing thing.
grew up among people who had tattoos all the time.
Sure.
Not the fancy ones that you see now, but just numbers. And I was thinking, even in the concentration camps, they had to be a stand-up comedian there to make people survive.
There were.
They had to
They had
be.
orchestras. They had, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So as a Jew, it's genetic. It's imprinted in all of us. Uh, and by the way, I would have been a perfect Nazi. You know why?
Why?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. Because I can look at a person's eyes, any Jewish person's eyes, and I can tell, yeah, I can look at you, and I can tell if that person's Jewish or not. Don't ask me how, but there's a sadness there. There's a sadness that and I detect, and I go, yeah, my name is John Smith Lincoln. I go, you're Jewish.
No,
How did you
see,
know?
you
I
just
go, yeah, Lincolnovich. Okay, you changed it in Ellis Island, whatever the fuck. But I can tell. I can tell by the mannerisms, my family. I can see in a lot of Jewish people, my family, my Bobby, Zayda, everybody. In
yeah.
fact, on my mom's side, we used to call them Oma and Opa
Oh,
because they're German.
but no, I look at you. I mean, yes, you. I see lampshade. It's it's instant. But I'm just kidding.
It
So
puts the lotion in the basket. It puts the lotion in the basket. Oh, you're going to take my skin too? Come on. I'm not a fat lady. I'm a fat guy. Okay, my testosterone level is so low right now. I am
hello.
transitioning. I'm transitioning right now.
So let me ask you though. Do you remember anything from the first bit or jokes that you were telling
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
20s? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm your typical Jew from Argentina. And in fact, Argentina, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. Remember that show?
Sure.
Okay. That was Evita. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Okay, Evita, I fucked her. Okay, and she cried, and she saw me naked. She couldn't help crying. Okay,
I got laughs. I got laughs from me. What is it? 40 years on after
Yeah.
after the show and after you started doing it. Good.
That's my first bit. And
Yeah.
I did that. People understood, especially 40 years ago, because they knew the play Evita. Not so
Yeah.
much today.
Oh
So,
well, this song but you got to move forward. So, like, what is a recent joke that you've told on stage, or a recent bit, like the last couple of weeks?
a recent bit.
Yeah.
The movie Titanic. I hate the movie Titanic.
Why?
Okay. Why? Well, did you see the scene where they're actually floating in the water and she's on top of the floating door? Okay, there's a deleted scene. I don't know if you knew that. There's a deleted scene where they actually knock on the door. She opens. It's a Jehovah's Witness. Okay, but they deleted that scene. I think they should have left it. And what a stupid scene. Oh, Rose, I want you to live. I want you to have as many boyfriends and fuck them all and have a great life. Well, I'm in the bottom of the ocean eaten by fish. Bullshit. No guy would do that. I would say, get off that door, bitch. You're fat. Well, you big boobs. You're probably going to be able to float, And so I go into that. Mission Impossible? Mission Impossible. Oh, great. Oh, he jumps off airplanes. He just does. You know what my Mission Impossible is? Getting an erection. Okay, that's my Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible. Getting a date these days that it's under 70 or 80. That's a Mission Impossible, not that bullshit. Anybody can jump off an airplane. Yeah, I came up with that joke last week, by the way.
I'm imagining how. So
my specialty is ranting, by the way.
I see this. I see.
And by the way, let me make an announcement, a plug. There is a website for comedians which is free. First of all, let me say that it's free. Free. You don't have to pay.
You're appealing to the Jew in me right now. Yes. Okay.
Ever.
Yes.
Okay. It's called Plausible. Plausible.com. That's Plauzzable. Plausible.com. I teach classes there for free. Never a charge. There's no hidden charges. I'm not going to hit you later. Private bullshit. I don't charge comedians. I don't need the money. I'm a Jew. Okay. And I teach ranting. Very important. It creates material. Rabbi, you should come and rant in there.
I should come repeatedly. Yes.
I teach how to handle hecklers. It's called Hecklers Kung Fu and crowd work. So everybody is invited. It's called plausible.com. They have a bunch of classes and open mics. It's free all the time, no exceptions.
Are the open mics online? There's Zoom open mics. Is that the deal?
It's like a Zoom-like website. So what you're going to do is very close to Zoom, just like this, and they have a lot of classes with people from all over the world.
Sure.
And they have classes and they have shows. You can create your own shows. You can create shows so you can charge. You can actually have a show there, and they have connections there, so you can go to X, you can go to Facebook and everything else, all for free, and create your own shows.
Plausible, Plauzzable, plausible.
Plausible, yeah.
Sounds wonderful, actually. But let's get back to you. You, Pablo Lewin. So you mentioned hecklers. What's the worst hell gig that you ever had as a stand-up comedian?
Well, not a hell gig, but I was doing a great bit about Jesus Christ being nailed to the cross and asking God for a little cash, maybe some credits, so she could bribe the Romans. And I did that, and a couple of Karens jumped up and started yelling at me, "It's blasphemy, blasphemy! You shouldn't be talking about Jesus that way." And I go, "Hey, Jesus, the Jews didn't kill Jesus. It was my family, okay? Not all the Jews. It was my family. We used to have a hardware store. And he came in and asked, he was a carpenter, asking for wood and nails and everything else. And we gave him credit, but finally he didn't pay. We had to take it out of his ass, okay? So we nailed him to the wall. You want credit? That's why he was asking for money from God."
Makes sense. Oh, but yeah, right. Okay.
They didn't like that joke. So I'm going to do jokes about Muhammad. I think it's going to be safer now. No, I'm only kidding.
Are you wearing the yarmulke? I think you are. Well, I'm...
Yes, it's called a bald spot right
here.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It's your headset. I thought it was the beginning of a yarmulke. Sorry.
Yeah, I started using a headset because it makes me look like an air traffic controller. But not the air traffic controller in India. Oh, it's too soon. Never mind that.
Oh, actually,
but look at this. Look at the bald spot. Yeah. Most people wouldn't like that, but in my case, I'm going to monetize that bald spot. I'm going to put a QR code right here, so people can scan it. Not only that, my driver's license. You've been doing 85 and a 75. Show me your license. Okay, officer, go ahead and scan it. It's right here.
And here we come like 80 years from tattooing, and that's all you're going to be doing again to your head in just a different way.
But this time we're going to make money with it.
That's it. The greatest joke that was ever told on this program, on the Dave's Gone By show, was seemingly impromptu, was Gilbert Gottfried, a fellow comedian, but one of the greatest. And he said, if the Holocaust had lasted just a little longer, Jews would have figured out a way to make money from it. Which is
Absolutely.
one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard.
Gilbert,
And possibly true.
You actually interviewed Gilbert Gottfried?
Dave, the host of this. I'm Rabbi Sol, of course, but Dave.
Oh, Dave did.
Yeah, it was one of his proudest moments. It was fabulous.
He's the la creme de la creme, the top of the top.
Hey, have you met other famous major comedians? Been on bills with them? Dealt with them?
No, just for a few seconds, but nothing of.
Well, who is your favorite comedian? Like when you were growing up and thinking of doing comedy, were you a Carlin man, a Cosby man? Obviously, it was a Cosby, but maybe a Henny guy. What kind of guy?
Richard Jenny.
Platypus man. Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Wolfberg.
Oh.
Rich Scheitner. None of the famous ones. Vic Dunlop. They're all dead now.
And were they big on the coast? Because they had some TV exposure.
Well, these days, modern day, I'm talking about Adam Ray, Jewish boy. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Adam Ray?
No. But
He is a freaking genius. You have to look up Adam Ray. He does characters also. And he's filling up arenas, okay? Adam Ray doing Dr. Phil. The Dr. Phil show, Adam Ray. By the way, it's sanctioned by Dr. Phil himself. And this guy's amazing. And another Jewish boy.
Elon Gold is very good.
Elon Gold is very good. Orny Adams.
Okay.
Orny, Orny Adams. He is freaking amazing. I liked it. And of course, the olden times, Sam Kinison, what I'm going to say right now, all the women watching this are going to hate you and me for me saying
They already do. Go ahead. What?
But the Dice Man, I love the Dice Man.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Andrew Dice Clay, Andrew Silverstein.
yeah.
Okay.
And we know it's an act. He was in that Blue
an
Jasmine Woody Allen film. He's an actor. Yeah. So yeah, it was just you're more you're
And of
having
course,
more trouble. You mentioned Cosby or Louis C.K. these days than
for the olden
Dice.
times, Dick Shawn, amazing.
Oh.
Dick Shawn, remember Dick Shawn?
From the producers, but not that much else. Yeah.
No, Dick Shawn, was he in the producers?
Of course, he was LSD.
Oh, okay. I was thinking more of it's a mad world.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. And Don Rickles, Rodney, of course.
Right. Okay, so you do go to but the ranting style I see from Sam Kinison.
I like Jewish comedians.
Yeah. All right. Absolutely.
Which is.
So you made.
And Larry David. Holy cow! Curb Your Enthusiasm. And most people that may be watching don't know is that Curb Your Enthusiasm. They have a lot of Jewish. Jokes that most people don't. Shelley Berman, yeah, and that people that are not Jewish will never understand the inner workings of those jokes. That they
Seinfeld also. I mean, because he co-created. I mean, it's under there. We get it. We look in their eyes.
We get it. We look in their eyes and go, "I know what you're saying." Exactly.
So, other things about Pablo Lewin. We have a couple more minutes left with you. So, you're into apparently, from what I'm checking, ham radio. Is that even necessary in 2020? Can't you get anything from anywhere?
I'm going to answer that with a question, okay? Do you like fish?
I love fish. I can't
you love fish.
Ham, but
when you want fish, where do you go get your fish?
Barney Greengrass or the pond.
Exactly. So when somebody wants to call somebody, you use a phone.
Yes.
And you call somebody you don't need. But ham radio, it's a sport. So if I get on Morse code with only enough power on a battery and I contact somebody in Beijing, why would I want to do that? But somebody or anywhere in the world, it's amazing that I reached that distance with so little power. And I use Morse code most of the time. I'm a Morse code. I got a license as a commercial radio telegraph operator that I got recently. totally useless. Nobody uses that anymore. I did it because the FCC had it. I've been a ham radio operator since I was 14 years old, so it's part of my DNA. And when I started, there was no internet. There was nothing that you had.
No, in 1972, it's not 2025. I mean, I get back then. It's like, oh my God, I'm talking to someone in Australia.
Right now, it's a sport and a tradition.
Yeah.
And it's something that you study, electronics and software and everything else that keeps evolving, and I'm attracted to that. Another thing that I do that you may not know is that I have a backyard, a full out automatic backyard observatory, which I observe the night sky all the time. I detect exoplanet transits, and I report to the Transit Exoplanet Survey Satellite Team, Subgroup 1 team. I am a co-author in 50 astronomical scientific papers. You can look me up on ORCID, Pablo Lewin ORCID.
ORCID. I prefer Pablo to Sid, but okay, yeah.
Pablo the Sid Caesar, another great one, Sid Caesar. And so I have about 9 telescopes. So I do all the things that kids always dream about, and I've always done that. And that's why I've never married. Not a man, not a woman. Only sheep. I have something about sheep, but that's only when they.
Well, no, sheep aren't bad. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Well, when they go Pablo, I'm getting a Woody just thinking about it.
Oh, this is good to know. Thank you very much. And then you ram them. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
That was a good one.
So you are single, but is it hard to? I mean, this is also an era when you can meet people by going on apps and websites and things, But is it, and plus you go to clubs all the time and do comedy. Isn't that a chick magnet thing?
Yeah, I depend on chuckle fuckers. And after the show, you know what a chuckle fucker is?
I've not heard the phrase.
Chuckle fucker. It's a common known phrase among comedians, chuckle fuckers. And those are groupies that want to have sex with a comedian if they like them after the show. But in my case, it seldom happens, if any. When I was younger, it used to happen. But right now, I'm used to being single right now. I'm a straight guy as far as I know, but I'm always willing to change. I don't know. Someday, I'm 65. What's the difference? But I never, I'm a straight guy. I like women, but women women are more complicated than my telescopes in my ham radio. And
I'm long married. I'm not going to make any comments on this. But I'm going to go to something even more controversial while we have another minute or two, because one thing that unites us, even though I've never flown a plane and never will, even though I look up in the sky and it hurts my neck, I can't look at stars, and even though, again, ham radio, not kosher, but Zionism, the belief in Israel as a Jewish state, yes?
Absolutely. No if, buts, or anything like that. I think Israel is a beacon of democracy and morality. And one thing that I can't understand to this day are Jewish people who are supporting the other side. They're like capos in a concentration camp. I cannot fathom that. If anything, for self-preservation, because what happened in Nova on October 7th in the Nova party, most of those people were very, I'm not going to say left-wing, they were very pro-Palestinian, let's have a party together and everything else. And unfortunately, and they didn't deserve that, they were slaughtered, okay? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you try to appease the other side and you say, you're a Jew and you will always be a Jew whether you like it or not, and they're always going to hate you, kids. It's always going to be, it's a virus that it's endemic.
So what is the solution? Because you can talk yourself blue in the face, they're not going to listen, and honestly, I'm not going to listen to the other side either. So what the hell do you do, sort of burning their green tents and smacking them around a little bit?
The solution, unfortunately, in the Middle East, they still operate under a feudal system. That is, they only understand what's happening right now, force. If you try to use American democratic rationality, that is seen as weakness, a way to take advantage of you. Not everybody, because let's face it, Muslim people are very nice people, the majority, but they're irrelevant, because the 10% that are fucking crazies, they're the ones that are going to kill the majority, and they're going to subjugate the majority, and the majority don't have any guns or anything else. I'm not a proponent of guns, but what I'm saying is that I'm not against guns either. I got a bunch, but I'm not one of those.
Oh, so you are pro-gun. If you have a bunch of guns, you are pro-gun. That kind of follows.
Yeah, but I'm not a proselytizer. I can understand. I have training. I have anti-terrorism training, because I was one of the pilots that it was called a federal flight deck officer. I was one of the pilots that was armed after 9/11. So I had to qualify every 6 months. I had to do extensive anti-terrorist training. So I'm one of those Jews you don't want to fuck with, basically.
Well, women certainly don't. I'm sorry. That was cold. That was cold-blooded. I'm sorry.
But that was good. That was so good and so true.
Thank you.
That was fast. Rebbe, that was very fast.
Thank you, Rabbi. Fast but not easy. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Pablo Lewin, who has given us some great information, first of all, about that plausible.com. If you are a budding comedian or want to learn about comedy and want to take his classes, how much did you say they cost?
I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's free. It's always going to be free. There's no I'm not going to call you after the first class and say, oh, you got to pay me $50. No. It's always free, and we got a bunch of great comedians. It's always positive reinforcement, always never negative, always positive. We have a bunch of great group, and people from all over the world literally come in, and we workshop jokes and everything else. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. It's free.
That's right. There you go. You know the ShamWow guy? Israeli, Jewish guy, and he's the perfect pitch man. You've got that same sort of come, it's free. It's free. I'm telling you, it's free.
Scan the QR code right here. There's a QR code right here.
Now, let me ask you, last thing, Pablo. So this is airing at the end of June, and you don't necessarily have any dates. We certainly don't have any dates with women, but the dates of doing stand-up comedy, but you're around the Bay Area or
Southern California.
Southern Cal.
Hollywood, Southern California.
Can we go to your website and find out when and where you'll be playing so people can see you?
My website is Facebook and Instagram, basically. And it's sometimes I put astronomy stuff, sometimes comedy stuff. It's Facebook/Pablo TWA, like the airline, Pablo TWA, or at Pablo TWA, because that was my first love, TWA.
Well, you are now our latest love here in the neighborhood. It just remains for me to thank you so much. A big toda rabba to Pablo and also gracias, muchas gracias.
Oh, de nada.
Pablo, thank you and shalom to you.
Shalom, Rebbe. We'll see you around.
God
thank you.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.